Before we start on tonight's projects, I have a couple of different ones, a few different ones to show you. But before then, I want to remind you that May 3rd, Monday, May 3rd, is the last day that you can order from the current annual catalog. Many items in here are retiring. Of course, everything retiring is on while supplies last only. So some things are sold out, but there are still many retiring products left. Many are discounted, some discounted very much. So, and I'm going to be showing you some of those retiring discounted products, their punches. Kathy Crumlish, I'm so happy to hear you finally got your strawberry punch. I hated to even say anything to you, but I did see yesterday that they had an update saying that they got a shipment large enough to fill the back orders, and they're waiting on another shipment so that they can put it back in the inventory so people can start ordering that again. So I'm happy for you that you got your strawberry punch today. Hi, Sylvia from Indiana. I know that. I don't know why I was reading it. I know that, Sylvia. Hi, Diane from South Dakota. Nice to have you. So Monday, May 3rd is the last day to order from here. If you go to my website, marynabe.stampinup.net, you can even click on sales and specials and click on the link that says last chance list or last chance products. And it will show you everything that is retiring and still available. If it's not there, it's no longer available. But most everything is still available. And then the other thing is, so out with the old, in with the new. Our new annual catalog starts May 4th. That is the first day that customers can order from the new catalog, and the first day that demonstrators can order anything they want from the new catalog. During the pre-order for this catalog, demonstrators were limited to a certain number of items that we could pre-order. So many of us are eagerly making our lists and getting ready for Tuesday. If you are a customer of mine, meaning you've purchased from me in the time frame of that last catalog, so since June of 2020, you were on my list to receive a catalog through the mail from Stampin' Up. I paid for the catalogs and to have them shipped directly from Stampin' Up. And I am hearing from people that they've been receiving yours. If you think you're on that list, you made a purchase, placed a Stampin' Up order in that time frame, and you don't have one by Saturday, please let me know and I'll get another one out to you. If you are in need of a Stampin' Up demonstrator, I would love to earn your business and become your demonstrator of choice. And I would be happy to get started in earning your business by sending you a complimentary catalog. Okay. I'm just checking who else has jumped on. Hi, Joan. Hi, Sharon. Okay, some of you are saying you've got yours. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so tonight, and you know, if you were with me on Monday for my Facebook Live, I told you that what I planned for Monday, I moved to this evening because people were requesting that I do a video on my popcorn purse. Fun, easy project. You can see that on stampinpiece.com. Oh, no, it's not there yet. It will be soon, but you can find it on my VIP page. But anyways, I had planned to do some teacher appreciation gifts. And these are also things, while I was focusing on teacher appreciation, they are certainly things that you can use Other times of year, even a welcome back to school for teachers. Happy end of the school year, happy summer for children and grandchildren. And just in general, just fun notes. And certainly something that you can use during the fall season. But anyways, since Monday, the stamp set Harvest Hellos has sold out. However, I thought I am sticking with my plan. I will alter my projects a little bit so that we're just using the punch and not the stamp set, because the punch is still available and the punch is only $7.20. It's marked down from $18. That's more than half price. It might even be about 60% off. So a great, great deal. And there's so many wonderful things you can do with it. In addition to making apples, you can do pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns, things like that. And even if you don't have that stamp set, you can work with it. You can still draw the lines of the pumpkin or put the jack-o'-lantern face on there. But anyways, that's the focus for tonight, the featured product. And with that, I'm also going to show you a 6x6 One Sheet Wonder. And with this 6x6 One Sheet Wonder, I'll show you how to make 4 cards. And when we're finished, you'll see that there's almost none of that 6x6 piece of paper that's not used. There's just a tiny, what did I do with it? It was a tiny little bit, but you'll see, because I'm going to show you how to cut that. And then I have a couple more quick projects after that coordinate with all this. So, and I should tell you too that things I've already punched, my samples, I'm using Real Red DSP that is retiring, but I'm still using up what I have. But to make with you, I'm actually using sheets that are from the new sets of DSP for our color family. So this is Real Red. One thing I love about this, the patterns are great, but it's tone on tone. Our last set had white in all of the, oops, that's not a good one to show you, had white in most of those patterns, but this is all tone on tone. So I think this is really fun. I love it. Great patterns. So we are using tonight the note cards. They are 5 inches. The finished size is 5 inch by 3.5. Great deal in the catalog. I still say this is one of the most overlooked products in the catalog. You get 20 cut and pre-scored note cards and the envelopes for, I want to say, $6. Super great value. So, as I said, the finished size of these is 5 inch by 3.5. So, different than our standard A4 or A2, which is that I can't remember. So, you're going to take your 6x6 piece of DSP and you're going to cut at 4 7/8. We're going to hang on to that strip because we are going to use it. And then we're going to turn the large piece and cut it at, let me double check here, 3 3/8. I want to check my sheet, my cheat sheet before I cut. 3 3/8. We're going to use that. And then this piece, you're going to cut 2 1 1/4 inch strips. You're going to get rid of this tiny little piece. And that first strip, that tallest one, longest one from our first cut, we're going to cut that at, whoops, let me think, 5 inches. So this is what's left. This is what I'm not using from that 6x6 piece of Designer Series paper. So very, very little waste, right? just to show you quickly again what it looked like. It would be this, and this I'll flip over because we're not using that little piece. If I can get it. Oh, my fingers don't want to move. And then that teeny tiny little strip that came from here. All right. So let's make our 4 cards. I'm going to start with the 2 small strips. And I'm kind of going to build these together because the 2 cards are very similar. There is a small border. I cut these so that there is a small border on the left, right, and bottom parts of the card. And then on one, and I went ahead and pre-punched my pieces. Okay, just because there's a whole lot that I'm showing you using these, and you don't want to just watch me punching all night. One thing I will mention to you is builder punches can create a lot of waste if we're not careful. So kind of measure out your paper into strips, and you can see how I cut this one. Made a 2-inch strip, and I cut one. I don't think we can go, no, can't quite get another one in, but I know I can use that piece for something else. As far as the leaves, I pulled a scrap and I put it in from the top and then punch. And of course you get all those little bits. And same thing with the stem. Just cut a very narrow strip of your cardstock and keep putting it in through the top. So keep that in mind when you're using any builder punch, just to be more efficient and less wasteful with your paper. Makes your paper go farther. Now, when I'm ready to add my stems and leaves, I'm simply using one glue dot, and I place the stem behind, and then in the leaf, you can decide if you want it behind. I think it's kind of fun to put it up front. Gives it, oops, guess I didn't pull it off. Just gives your apple a little bit more dimension. Pop this on my first card using 2 Stampin' Dimensionals, and look what this does. Take our white chalk marker and just add a little bit, and it brings more dimension to it. Doesn't look quite as flat anymore. And of course you can stamp anything you want. You can put a tag with the teacher's name. You can say hello, just a note, thank you, whatever you want it to be. So there's one. Now the second one, I'm going to make a simple change by adding some Granny Apple Green Designer Series paper. This is just 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to lay it right on the top of my Real Red DSP. For something this thin and narrow, a lot of times I'll use my multi-purpose glue. For all these little pieces, I've been using my mini glue dots, and I figured this is just as easy to use on these narrow strips. And then once again, I will add, I can't find the end, here it is. No. There we go. Once again, I'm just going to add the stem and the leaf. You can add more than one leaf if you want. You can do whatever you want, right? We're creators. Again, if you want to add a sentiment on the front or in the inside, that's great. And I will tell you, teachers love this kind of thing. And I can say that because I was a teacher. I guess I still am a teacher, right? I just teach something different than elementary school. Use your white chalk marker once again and add some dimension. This time I'm going to add some this way. So now it looks like the light is coming towards and you're getting a little reflection on each side of the apple. Whereas here it's coming from a different direction and you get that shine on the other side. Super simple, right? So now you are halfway to a fun note card. So here's my samples. All I did was use outgoing DSP as compared to the newest DSP that we can order starting Tuesday. Now we have 2 more pieces of that One Sheet Wonder. Yes, Joyce, you too, you get it. You were a teacher. You totally get that. Once a teacher, always a teacher. That is so true. All right, for the next card, I'm using the largest piece of designer series paper. Again, we're making 4 cards, 4 note cards, the smaller size cards from 1 piece of 6x6 designer series paper. And if you don't have 6x6 designer series paper, you can certainly cut from your 12x12s. And so this is now kind of serving as a background. So this is our sample. I punched, where are they? Here we go. I've got little piles everywhere. So I've already punched the 3 different colors of apples. And I'll add my stems, my stems and leaves. I gotta make sure I'm pulling from the correct piles because I had everything punched and cut out specifically. And for this set, since I'm using a Granny Apple Green for an apple, I punched these leaves from Garden Green. But look at how easily this is all coming together. And quickly, right? Not just easily, but quickly. I suggest if you're doing something like this where you've got a theme or motif that you're repeating, do all your punching first. Figure out what you need and punch, punch, punch. And it just kind of saves you a little time in the long run. Kind of working assembly line style, I call it. Notice too, all the projects we're doing tonight, we're using just a limited number of supplies to make several different projects. And about to the end of my dimensionals, so you know I like to just cut these up. And I'm going to be really careful because I cut my thumb with a knife in the kitchen last night. I couldn't believe how much it was bleeding, but it's okay. You just don't want to see it. Okay. You know I'm very, how do I want to say? I don't want to waste anything, put it that way. I want to get my money's worth from everything I purchase. So that's why it's important to me that I cut all these edges of my dimensionals. You can even cut them smaller if you want. Okay, now I have all 3 of my apples on dimensionals. So when you're doing that, you kind of have to think about how you're fitting your apples together, because you don't want like 3 layers of dimensionals on top of each other. That might look a little awkward. Plus it's not the best for mailing our cards. It's like this one. I might need to move over a little bit. Whoops. that one-dimensional. So it just lays a little better. Yes, frugal is the word. And you know why I'm frugal. If I save money on this kind of stuff, I have more money to buy stamps and my designer series papers that I love so much. All right, there. Now look at the difference in the two sets of apples. Do you see how using this simple chalk marker makes such a difference? You might want to go over it, especially on the darker colors. It absorbs quite a bit. I'm also going to do this. Super fun, super easy. So now we have 3 cards ready for our teacher gift, and let's do the 4th one. Here's my sample. Again, I'm using another and the last piece from that One Sheet Wonder. And I'm going to adhere this just to the right of the fold. I'm leaving a little bit of white exposed between the DSP and the fold. And then I need another pile of apples. And we're basically using this, again, the same set of punched pieces, but just placing them in a different layout. Okay, I think I'm back with you. I had one of those spam calls coming in, and it stops the Facebook Live for a moment. And that's even when I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. I really don't know why it does that when you have a phone on Do Not Disturb. When I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, I really mean Do Not Disturb. I'm busy. Hi, Tammy. Yes, these can be mailed with regular postage, the same, what is it, 55 cents now? Yes, the same postage amount. There's, you know, the forever stamps. They're just a little bit smaller than most of the cards we make together. Oh, and you know, with that, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked that because that kind of jogged my memory. This is the smallest size card that you can mail, 5" by 3.5". I get asked that a lot because some of our kits have, you know, smaller ones. People ask me about 3 by 3 cards. 5" by 3.5" cards are the smallest piece of mail that you can mail. Smallest cards that you can mail. They don't accept anything else through going through the mail system. Anything smaller. Alrighty, and I'm going to start at the top because as I come down, my apples are overlapping. And that's easier than trying to tuck, starting at the bottom and tucking them under. The nice thing about this layout too, and each of the layouts with the apples, it doesn't matter if they don't have to be. In fact, they look better if they're not all evenly spaced and perfectly placed. And once again, I'm going to use my chalk marker. I just love this. You know, I should have looked up the cost of this. I know at one point it was $3.50. I don't know if it's still the same price or if it went up to maybe $4, but that is a great thing to have for a few dollars. And did I mention that you can go over it? If you want the white even brighter, you can. Now this time I pressed kind of hard. Sometimes I use more of the tip and get a finer line, or you can turn it on its side a little bit and get a thicker line. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have these 4 cards. Grab 4 envelopes from that package, and you could wrap these with a bow. You could put them in a cellophane envelope. You could put them in a cellophane bag and tie them up with a pretty bow and a tag, however you want. But again, I'm focusing on teacher appreciation, which is May 4th, Tuesday, but they can be used certainly just because. And you can add any sentiment you want. Happy birthday, thinking of you, just a note, thank you. But so whether they're for a teacher or not, I think they're fabulous and it's a quick, easy, inexpensive gift that will be very much appreciated. All right, now let's make another little gift. And all of the apples I've used thus far were punched from cardstock. Let me show you, well, I can show you this gift. And look, I didn't even add anything to the box, but it's pretty, right? It's cute, just to give as is. And even to tuck this in, maybe into a little basket or a gift bag with the first set of note cards we made, that would be super as well. So I'll show you these really quickly. I just put 3. You could probably get at least one more 3x3 card in here. But here they are. But the biggest difference here is you notice the apples have been punched from designer series paper. So that makes them a little fun. And one of my favorite trims to use with apples or fruits or that kind of thing, nature, is our linen thread, which now comes on a bolt. Do you remember when it came on a flat card? I love that they put it on a little bolt, and then I just stick it in a little shot glass here. No, I don't drink shots, but you know how sometimes you end up with shot glasses. I use them for my crafts. All right, so let's quickly make these. And yes, Stampin' Up! Does sell these boxes. In fact, I used the last 2 for tonight, so I have to order some more. Last 3, actually. So I have 3x3 cards. I'll tell you the most efficient way or frugal way, less wasteful way of cutting these is to cut them from a 12x12 piece of cardstock. Cut it at 6 inches. Overlap the 2 6-inch by 12-inch pieces, turn them, and cut again at 3 inches, and then you cut those in half, and you'll end up with 8 pieces that are 3 by 6 inches. You score at 3 inches, and you fold them. So 8 little 3x3 cards. If you cut them from 8.5 by 11 paper cardstock, you only get 3 to a sheet. Now, of course, you can do something with the rest, but just, you know, I try to be frugal and efficient. Now, I've made some black squares, and these are cut 2 3/4 inch square. And you're probably going to laugh when I tell you this, I chose black. I was going to put them on a soft suede background, the same color as I've punched the stems. And I thought, oh, I'm going to do black like a chalkboard. And then as I was making my samples, I thought, you know what? I don't think they even use chalkboards in classrooms much anymore. I know in Andrea's classroom, she has a great big chalkboard that goes pretty much across the entire back wall of her classroom, but they use smart boards and whiteboards and things like that. So it kind of made me laugh, but here I'm thinking old school. Okay, so you helped me with this. Again, I punched 3 apples from 3 different colors of designer series paper. Should I use the same pattern as I did for the sample cards, or would you like to see the polka dots? Let's see what you all say to this. I'm curious what you would choose, because I know what I would choose already for the second set, but I'm curious, what would you all choose? The more solid or the polka dots? Interesting. Oh, interesting. Polka dots? I was thinking same. But I'm going to step out of my box here and go polka dots just for the fun of it, okay? I'm always curious, because a lot of times we just look at things differently. Okay, many are saying solids, but there are some saying polka dots. So I'm going to go a little more fun. Is that the word for it? I think the other ones are fun too. Maybe it's more of an eclectic look. Or retro, kind of a retro look, I guess. I tend to be a traditionalist, so you probably knew I would go for same over the polka dots. But I do like people kind of pushing me beyond my comfort zone a little bit. That's how we learn, right? All right, and grab some more dimensionals. Oh, I didn't cut that last side. Again, notice the time, how quickly these are coming together. Great for gifts, little birthday gifts or Christmas gifts or just because gifts. If you notice on my samples, maybe you did already, when I used the linen thread, I made a double bow. Do you all know how to make the double bow? Oh, hi, Sue and Sharon. Who else jumped on? Miriam. Nice to have you. I'm so glad you're all here. So all I do for a double bow is just double up my trim, my linen thread. I hold it, and if you're more comfortable, you can cut it off. But I just hold the 2 strands together, and I just tie a bow like I normally would. So I treat those 2 strands together as if they're one. And of course, my tip for bow making is you always make the tails and loops long enough that you can tug and pull them until you get the size just the way you want it. Trim off those ends. Add a glue dot. And again, This is my way. I suppose lots of people may do it this way. I think this is the easiest way to put your bows on your cards and your scrapbook pages and your paper crafts. Just one glue dot right behind the knot, the back side of your bow. Okay, that one I turned off at a little angle. These I all had them centered and going down straight, but I think that's kind of cute. So one more time, just double your linen thread, treat it as one, and just tie your bow like you normally would. And I have to say, when I first saw double bows and sometimes triple bows, and what I would thought, oh, how are they doing that? You know, are they making two bows and stacking them? Nope, this is it. Is it raining where you all are? I went upstairs. I thought I had my back door, my screen door open. I was working at my kitchen table all day because I was doing mostly computer work today. And I wanted to sit up there and get some fresh air. But I came back down here to work a couple hours ago, and I thought, you know, I left that door open. I should probably have that closed and locked when I'm downstairs. Not that I'm afraid, but you might as well be cautious, right? Well, it was raining. We haven't gotten the storms that they told us to expect, but it was raining. But you know what? It's a good thing because I finally got some flowers planted. I feel good about that. I spent, I think, an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe yesterday outside planting, and boy, that lifts my spirit, playing in the dirt. Oh, that's why I can't pick anything up, because I trim my nails really short because I don't like to have garden gloves on. It's harder for me to work and handle the plants and the flowers, but I don't like all that yucky stuff under my nails. So I always trim my nails real short when I do that. So that's why I can't pick anything up. One thing I was going to mention too, now I'm not going to add any white chalk marker on these because they've got white in the dots. If you want another fun way to spruce up your apples, pull out your Wink of Stella. You could go over those white chalk marks with your Wink of Stella. Here, I'm just going to add it to the leaves. You know, I think I'll do the stem because it's now I've got it on the leaf and it's making the stem look a little too plain. But a little shimmer is always fun. I do this a lot too if I'm stamping and punching flowers. I use the Wink of Stella a lot. Okay, so now we have these. We'll stick them in a box that I've put together. And I'm going to show you a fun way to decorate your box now. And again, if you don't want to take the time to decorate the box, or maybe you're having to make several of these, or you're limited on paper, whatever, I think these look pretty just the way they are. And I would have no problem sticking these little, I'm catching right here, sticking this little box of note cards in a basket or a gift basket with my other set of note cards and leaving them just like this. Okay. I keep snagging this one corner and I can't get it in. It's really not this hard. There we go. But I think that's nice just to give it like that. You know, stick some in a basket. some people I know will make up a lot of things for teacher appreciation, and they just take them in and maybe they get placed on at the front desk or in the staff room or something, and teachers can, pull their little gift out of the basket. Wouldn't that be cute? A bunch of those. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'll actually show you on this because it'll just be easier and less distracting from that apple. Do you remember when I told you that I had some team members at my house for a Stampin' Up event a few weeks ago? And I decorated some notebooks for them and gave them some candies, and my theme was strawberries. Does anybody remember that? In fact, I have them right here. So the notebooks and the strawberries. You could do the same thing with an apple theme. But notice I made a belly band here, and I just filled this with those little, the little cute strawberry candies that are in the foil wrappers. And I thought, now what would I put in here? I think, and you maybe can find apple candies, but the first thing that came to my mind was Werther's has, I think they call them caramel apple candies. And, oh, they're so good. And those have a bright green wrapper or maybe a bright green stripe on their gold wrapper, something like that. But I know there's bright green on it. So I would fill this with the candy. I have a piece of designer series paper. In fact, I pulled this from that celebration paper we had. And this measures, I think, 1.5, but I'm going to check that before I tell you. Yes, 1.5 inches and 1 3/4, and they're both 9 inches long. So I'm going to, first of all, put these together. Oh, one thing I will tell you too, if you're making a belly band or you're pulling paper around, especially cardstock because it's thick, curl it around your fingers, and that just loosens up the fibers in the paper, in the cardstock, and then it makes it easier to wrap around. Just one of those tips I've picked up along the way, somewhere in my Stampin' Up! Demonstrator journey. I can't tell you when or where or how, but it's just a very useful tip. I didn't get that quite straight. And you've probably heard me say I don't like to see seams if I can hide them. So what I do is I take one edge and put it pretty much at the corner of my box or whatever I'm covering. And then I fold it over this way. This is a little bit long, so I'm going to cut some off. I do want enough that I still overlap, but I think maybe that 9 inches is a little too much. Oh, sorry. That was a loud bang, wasn't it? So put it there this way, wrap it around, and when you're making a belly band, remember you're only adhering paper to paper. You are not adhering to the box. I'm going to make sure this sticks down nicely there. So I'm going to put adhesive. Whoops, let me think about this. Nope, that's not where I want the adhesive. So let me just pull that off. I want the adhesive on this side. I'm going to put it right there on that outside edge of one end and the outside edge of the other end. So now I take it around, but before I seal it, I pull this one up. That one that went, I put the edge all the way to the edge of the box. Tuck the smaller end inside. Overlap them Make sure I have the edges of the cardstock lined up nicely. And press it down. It's actually a little bit, I put that on the wrong side again. It's supposed to be on the outside of this one and the inside of that one. Ugh. Long day, I guess. I thought, why is it sticking to my finger? And somewhere here I have an adhesive remover, and I'll get that off with my adhesive remover. That'll be easier. But what I started saying is a lot of times when you're wrapping the boxes, it's actually easier if the boxes are full. But I don't buy candy unless I really need it because sweets are my weakness. So I have this. Now look what I'm going to do with this. We are going to make a 3-dimensional apple. I've punched 5 red apples and I'm lining up the center with that cutting scoring edge in my paper trimmer. Just score. I'm going to do this to all 5. And then you're going to fold each of these on that score line. And then we're going to glue them together. And for this, I would suggest using the multi-purpose glue. Put 2 together just like that. Hold them for a few seconds. I'm going to put 2 more together. It gives, if I take 2 new ones, it gives these a little bit of time to dry before we put all 5 together so that they adhere really well. Hold it for a few seconds. And now I'll work with that 5th one. The glue dries up pretty quickly, but you just want to hold it securely for a few seconds. And now I have all 5. It's okay if they don't line up exactly. You're not even going to notice. But look what I have now. Now I have a 3D apple. Before I put that on, well, here's a leaf. I'll need to punch another stem, I guess. And I need another scrap because I thought I had enough punched. But here's that tip of use your scraps, your all these strips we have when we cut different card layers, and just tuck it in from the top. And then you'll see all the folds in the center. This is where we're going to add more glue and put it on our belly band. Get some right in the center there too. Now, if your 3D item would extend beyond your belly band, just be careful where you're putting your adhesive because you don't want it sticking to the box. It should be able to move, slide on and off. Alrighty, but isn't that cute? So simple. Apple punched 5 times. Fill it with some chocolate, some Ghirardelli squares, some hard candies, maybe even, and this would be good for back to school for teachers, have a great year or whatever, and put little erasers or paper clips, things like that. And lastly, I wanted to show you this. I also made this tag using the same 3D apple to hang on a gift bag. So now we have, well, I'll bring in the samples too. So this is my sample set of cards that we made from that 6x6 One Sheet Wonder that I made. And we have a set of 3x3 cards in a cute box. These are the ones I made with you using that same 6x6 One Sheet Wonder. Love, love, love our Stampin' Chalk marker. If you need a little something to add to an order, especially if you're trying to reach that $150 level where you get some Stampin' rewards, this is a great add-on. I love it. For the few dollars that it is, I just absolutely love it. And what a difference it makes. Okay, so I would take these note cards and envelopes and probably put them in a cello bag and tie a bow at the top. Put person's name on it, maybe, the teacher, Miss Nabe, whoever. Also fun for kids that go to college. And yes, I know that the younger generation likes text and social media, but I always tell my kids, I still like notes and I like to hear your voices. So when my kids left for college, they did get a set of cards. Now, to entice them a little bit to actually use them and send them to me and other people, I did add postage to the envelopes, where there's a will, there's a way, right? So that would be a fun way to use these as well. I hope you enjoyed these projects tonight. And like I said at the beginning of this Facebook Live, I had a plan to use the coordinating stamp and the punch. But when I saw that this was no longer, the stamp set was no longer available, I decided we can still do great projects just using the punch, right? If the pandemic has taught us anything, is you don't panic when things don't go exactly the way you want them. You just pivot. You change things up a bit. So you can see we made a really nice assortment of cards and gifts, and you can still add any sentiment you want to any of these. And even without the detail of the Apple stamp, we were able to put detail on all of these using that chalk marker. So thanks for spending part of your Wednesday with me. I look forward to seeing you again on Friday at 2 p.m. Not sure what we'll be making. I don't know. I've been working on blog posts and things like that to schedule when I'm gone in Maui for the incentive trip that I earned last year and the year before. And so I've been busy on that, and I didn't think yet about Facebook Live for Friday, but I'll come up with something fun. Oh, and that does remind me, I do have a promotion going on this week with any size order up to $99. You get 10 free cards from me, 10 free handmade cards. I already have a list of people that I will be pulling cards for from my displays, card racks, and stash, and sending them off in the mail to all those people as a thank you gift for helping me get to another goal or another milestone of mine. And I can say, as of today, that I did reach that milestone, and that is that I earned my 10th consecutive incentive trip. So not bad, 10 trips in 12 years. And really 10 trips since I decided I wanted to make a business of this. So I'm really proud of myself. I'm grateful for all of you, my customers, my followers, my viewers, my team. I have a lot of people who really cheer me on, my family and friends. I'm very grateful to be able to not only do a job that I really love and to be able to share it with all you, but to have the opportunity to travel and to take people with me when I do that. All right, good night, and I'll see you Friday.